It was another record day at Route 66 Raceway. First, Greg Anderson equaled his national laps time mark, and then he went even quicker and faster. In Top Fuel, Brandon Bernstein equaled his national speed mark, and John Force ran the first ever funny car pass under 4.7 seconds. Final eliminations are next. As the NHRA thunders into Chicago, two men have a shot at history. Tony Schumacher has 8 wins in 04, and he leads the Top Fuel points race. One more victory will tie him atop the list for most wins in a Top Fuel season. In Pro Stock, Greg Anderson has clinched the championship, and now he's driving towards something bigger. A win today would make 14 this year, more than any driver in any class ever. Chicago is a place where records fall, and for two men, where history awaits. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, presents exclusive coverage of the $50 million NHRA Powerade Drag Racing Series. 4 rounds remain in the chase for the championships, and today, it's final eliminations for the 4th running of the CarQuest Auto Parts Nationals from Route 66 Raceway in Joliet, Illinois, just south of Chicago. And hello again, everybody. Marty Reed, along with Mike Dunn, Bill Stevens, Dave Reed, Parker Johnstone, and we have, again, perfect weather conditions for racing. Will we see more records? Well, we will find out. Let's show you the ladder right now in Top Fuel, presented by Lucas Oil. You'll see that Corey McLenathan with a 4.49 second elapsed time. He has Morgan Lucas in the first round. David Baca will have Bob Vandergrip. Clay Millican with the lane choice over John Smith, and Doug Herbert over Brady Calavoda. Over on the other side, it is Team Kalitta's last big shot at Tony Schumacher. All 3 Kalitta cars are on the same side of the ladder, and there's Tony. He's got David Grubnick in the first round, then potential matchups with Doug Kalitta in the second round, and then maybe Scott Kalitta in the semifinals. Let's bring Mike Dunn into the equation, because we saw some incredible numbers. Give you an idea. Quickest Pro Stock field ever. Every single car, all 16, set career best marks. Will we see it again today?
Well, Marty, the conditions are going to be very good today, but they're not going to be as good as they were yesterday. It's going to be a little bit warmer, not quite the air quality that we had yesterday. But, you know, yesterday I also didn't think the fuel cars would be able to run the kind of numbers they did, given that they're only on 85% and a different tire than what we had here in the spring. But I'll tell you what, John Force and Brandon Bernstein definitely proved me wrong.
Well, let's bring in Bill Stevens.
Well, everybody is buzzing about Tony Schumacher perhaps winning that 9th national event and tying the all-time record in Top Fuel. But let's not forget, he's got a championship to win. All he's got to do is avoid a first-round loss over the last 4 races, and that championship is almost assured. But I got to tell you, it's gut check time here in the first round for that team. They know that one slip-up and everybody is really chewing at their behinds.
Thanks, Bill. As you look at Tony Schumacher, there are his numbers for qualifications. These guys have met 3 times this year, all of them in finals, and all of them won by Tony Schumacher, one of them on a hole shot.
And if you look at David Grubnick's number, he only got down the racetrack on 1 run in qualifying. Now, normally you think, boy, he's coming in at a big disadvantage, but Team Kalitta, they have a history of doing that, struggling in qualifying and coming back on eliminations and getting it all together and running very, very hard. So obviously, you can't count David Grubnick out.
The win light goes to Tony Schumacher. 4.47 seconds, 331 miles an hour. And look at Grubnick. He runs a 4:49 at 3:33. 2 great runs.
What a great race. I mean, both drivers, pretty much identical reaction times. This one went to Alan Johnson and the team. They struggled in qualifying, only ran the 4:54, but they knew they had it in the race car. They knew they were capable of running in the 4:40 range. A 4:47 to a 4:49, great race.
The quickest side-by-side pass in NHRA Top Fuel history. You've just seen it. Now we get ready for our #1 qualifier, Corey McLenathan. We've got an onboard camera with Corey Mack. He'll be in the right lane against Morgan Lucas.
Yeah, and obviously Corey had lane choice and he chose the right-hand lane, but like we just saw, I don't think lane choice makes any difference. A pair of 440s with Tony and Dave Grubnick ahead of them, so obviously the conditions are right. Morgan Lucas, though, he has really struggled here in qualifying. You can't count him out because this car is capable of running the mid-450 range.
He did not make the field in Top Alcohol Dragster, missed that one. But remember, he did beat Corey the one time they met. That was round 1 back at Indy.
Yeah, and Corey had out-qualified him at that race, and that was a little bit of an upset that he did take Corey out in the first round. So I guarantee you Corey remembers that, because not only did he win the race, but he pretty much spanked him on the tree, got a good reaction time. So Corey's going to really try to be on his game, but you know, he's not going to push it too hard because he knows he's got a very good car.
Well, they did push it too hard. Up in smoke, Morgan Lucas runs a career best elapsed time and speed. 4.56 seconds at 323 miles an hour. John Stewart, you saw him there, and there was Wayne Dupuis. One couldn't believe it. The other says, yeah, we're moving on.
Well, the kid did it again. I mean, had 0.05 of a second advantage off the starting line over Corey, and then the big surprise, Corey McClendon smoking the tires pretty much right after the hit of the throttle. Did not think that would happen. Let's look at Morgan Lucas here. Remember, he struggled big time in qualifying, could not get this car down the track early in the run, and then was hurting the engine later in qualifying, but not any problems this time. Made a nice pass into the second round.
All right, let's show you what else happened in the first round of Top Fuel. And first up, it'll be Scott Coletta in the right lane, Bruce Litton in the left. Scott runs a very clean 4.52 second elapsed time, 332 miles an hour. He move in to second round competition. That would bring up Bob Vandergrift alongside of David Baca. Keep an eye on that reaction time. It will be important, because Vandergrift wins on a hole shot, 4.587 to the quicker, but losing 4.583. Brandon Bernstein up next in the left lane. TJ Zizzo in the right lane. That's the quickest and fastest run for TJ Zizzo, but it's not enough. Brandon's 4.52 at 331 miles an hour gives him that margin of victory. Next up, Doug Herbert and Brady Calavoda. Calavoda gave it a good shot, but Doug Herbert takes the win light, 4.56 seconds, 325 miles an hour. John Smith up next in the left lane against Clay Millican. And John wins on a hole shot, 4.573 to the quicker, but losing 4.57.01. There's the margin of victory at the photo finish line.
Watch on the left-hand side. You're going to see where Clay Millican loses it. Right here, that thing starts drifting over towards it, out of the groove, and then the cylinder goes out. And that little bit of difference cost him the race.
Next up, that would bring up John's wife, Rhonda, and Doug Coletta. Lot on the line. Coletta has to win. Cylinder drops, and Rhonda comes around. 4.65 seconds, 311 miles an hour. Fourth first round loss this year for Doug Coletta, and his championship hopes are over.
Boy, Doug Coletta, this is a tough break. It looked like he had the race won. It had a good numbers early, but then it looks like number 7 and 8 cylinder just basically quit on the race car right there at the same point. A lot of oil smoke damage, and that allowed Rhonda Hartman to go around for the win.
Now, as we take a look at the matchups in our second round ladder presented by Lucas Oil, we should point out, mathematically, Doug still does have a shot, but realistically, that was a nail in his heart. Lucas and Doug Herbert have the lane choice on one side. Over on the other, it will be Tony Schumacher and Scott Coletta, as he and Brandon Bernstein are going to match up again. Let's take a look now at our funny car ladder presented by Lucas Oil, and you can see that John Force, the #1 qualifier again, 4.69 seconds. Unreal. Tony Pedregon has lane choice over Bob Gilberts, and Cruz Pedregon as well. There is Dell, the #2 qualifier. He's got Tommy Johnson. That's the pair we're going to focus on first. Gary Scelzi, Eric Medlin, Phil Burkhardt as well.
Dell Worsham has lane choice, chose that left-hand lane. They said they found their problem after they tested in India. I'll tell you what, the car does look very good.
Well, Dell runs 4.76 seconds, 320 miles an hour. Say, TJ ran a respectable 486 at 319, but he is on the trailer again in the first round.
Well, this was a lot better drag race than it should have been. Dell Worsham uncharacteristically laid off the starting line. TJ had a big jump, But look at the horsepower right here through the middle. Dale had this thing stuck right in the middle of the lane. That's what you need to do to keep all those cylinders lit, and he drove around Tommy Johnson for the win by just that much.
So another rough weekend for snake racing as well. Larry Dixon, Ron Capps did not qualify. TJ out of here in first round. It brings us now to John Force, trying to stretch the points lead even more. Let's talk a little history. John broke into the 470s, the first car ever to do that 6 years ago at Dallas. Of course, yesterday he ran that 4.697. There's the magic number he needs, Mike, to back it up. And he could do it.
Yeah, there's no question. I think the conditions are there, but you got to remember, your main focus is to be able to win the race. But Austin Coyle will look at the track conditions. If he feels the track will hold a low 470 run, he's going to set it up. And they would like nothing better to not only get this round win, but be able to back up that 469 for a new national record, because it's another 20 points.
And you better remember that they remember this. John Lawson, when he was the number 16 qualifier here at Chicago, beat John at the spring race, 2003. Goes back to your point. They got to win the round.
That's right, and that will be their main focus. If they got the tune-up on it and it stays stuck and backs up the national record, and they can leave here with the national record, that's when they get the 20 points.
An hour, new national record, both ends. Congratulations to John Force, Austin Coyle, Bernie Federle, and the entire crew. Parker.
Bernie Federle, co-crew chief for John Force. Last night and this morning you said it liked the changes. There was no question in your mind you were going to back this up.
Well, yeah, there were some questions, yeah. But we're real glad to get it, obviously. We're off to a good start here today. I hope we can get a win.
Good start. Do you believe that number?
Not really. It's hard to believe.
Absolutely incredible. I don't know if John knows the numbers yet. Both of them new elapsed time record, new speed record. Unreal. Let's go to Bill.
I was there.
466, 333.
She was awesome. I was there. I saw Schumacher's drag go out there, way out there, and hike the front end out. And we knew the track was good. Mile Heap, she drove down through there. I said, Coyle, I want these points, but yet I don't want to give this thing away going for the national record. He said, it is what it is. And out there, boy, way out there, she hiked the front end, that old Mustang did, and she trucked down through there. So my hat's off to my team, Austin Coyle and Bernie and these guys. And oh, man, I'm sweating these old rounds. I'm beat up, but that was awesome for Castrol and Mac and everybody, and the action group, Fred Wagenhall, we're still alive there. Wow.
And look at John. He is looking for the crew, and here they come. And he is amped up. Let's listen in.
Yeah! How was that for a first-round conservative tune-up?
That's Kevin McCarthy, who gave the conservative tune-up line. Let's go back, take another look.
Watch the front end right here as this thing starts going down the track. What John Force was talking about, as the clutch starts coming in, there's a 330-foot clone, picks the tire up one time, clutch coming in, picks up one more time. At that point, it's run 268 miles per hour. That was a fun ride.
All right, let's get you caught up on what else happened in first round of Funny Card. Cruz Pedregon had a problem after the burnout. We have a bit of a breeze coming from behind the cars, and it literally blows the roof hatch off. But would it make any difference against Johnny Gray in the run? No. Let's go topless, ladies and gentlemen. 4.75 seconds, the quickest ET ever for Cruz. 323 miles an hour. He's in to the second round. Also up would be Eric Medlin alongside of Jeff Wren. And watch, listen carefully. Medlin wins the round at 4.80 seconds, 322 miles an hour, and you think Jeff Wren two-stepped it.
Yeah, he definitely did, and we'll look at the onboard, and it's very hard to tell because he just barely squeezes the throttle just before the light comes on. He catches himself and then hits the throttle. And luckily did not red light, but it didn't matter anyway because he did get the win.
Next up, number 4 in the points, Whit Bazemore against number 5 in the points, Gary Dencham. Look at the reaction time. It'll be important. Gary Dencham on a slight hole shot. 4.75 seconds for both of those guys. What a heartbreaker for Witt. And there is the photo finish. Next up was Phil Burkhart and Bob Bodie. Hello, Bob. This is your wake-up call. Phil makes easy work of it. 4.85 seconds. Bodie just sleeping at the line at a 5 flat. Then it would be Gary Scelzi. Now he has to win to keep pace. Jerry Tolliver in the other lane. Not going to happen when you smoke the tires. And it means Scelzi now drops to 3rd in the points behind Del Worsham. Tolliver goes 5.08. The winner rare round of competition.
Big surprise here. We haven't seen much tire smoke today, Marty, but boy, Gary Scelzi went into a little bit of shake there and then just blew the big Goodyears off and basically spun the tires and lost his chance at that round win.
Finally, it would be Tony Pedregon up against Bob Gilbertson. Another set of tire smoke for Gilbertson. Tony P goes 4.76 seconds, 320 miles an hour. All right, let's take a look at the matchups now in round 2. Presented by Lucas Oil, it will be John Force with the lane choice. Oh, surprise, surprise, over Tony Pedregon. Brother Cruz does not have lane choice against Gary Dencham. Over on the other side, well, Del Worsham with lane choice over Jerry Tolliver, Eric Medlin over Phil Burkhart. Let's check in with Dave Reef.
And Marty, what a round of funny car we just saw. And who'd have thought that Jerry Tolliver would be part of round number 2? Keep in mind, this is a team that has struggled, losing to Gary Scelzi the last 4 times they raced. But not only did he avenge that, but he also picked up his first round win since St. Louis 7 rounds ago. In the process, he helped Del Worsham in the points leapfrog Gary Scelzi. Del now 2nd. But who do you suspect this team races next? It is Del Worsham. So 1 round after helping him, we're going to try to hurt him. Parker?
Dave, no struggles for the John Force Racing camp. You're seeing the crew of John Force as they turn around the quickest car in funny car history. It looks like a normal turnaround, but the important parts of this package right here, the intake manifold, the cylinder head, and the blower. Crew Chief Austin Coyle told me that the secret that they've stumbled across is the mixture of air-fuel mixture ratios, that they have found the exact combination to work the best on 85%. Have they done it? Oh yeah, nobody's even close. Earlier I said that Tony Schumacher could have a walk in the park today. Well, it's not going to be that easy. He faces Brandon Bernstein. Now, Brandon hasn't won for 11 races. You'd have to go all the way back to Topeka. But this car has been dead consistent all day long. It will be a great matchup. In funny car, it's easy. 2 words, Austin Coyle. Enough said. Pro Stock, Bill Grumpy Jenkins will have one of his 2 cars in the finals. I'm looking at Dave Connolly. He's been to 7 finals in the last 10 races. Dave, if you're a statistician and odds maker, it doesn't get any easier than that.
Well, for Bob Vandergriff, he's hoping to make a clutch run after a 3-year hiatus against Doug Herbert in the semifinal to go to his first final since Phoenix way back in 2000. And funny car, I talked to Cruz Pedregon, not amped up about racing John Force, says he's going to let it come to him naturally. And finally, in Pro Stock, on paper, it appears that the champion, Greg Anderson, is well on his way to a record-breaking win. But just look at the man's face, Marty. It tells another story.
Well, he has won only 1 of the last 4 races that he has been entered, and then for Greg, that's a drought. Here is the top fuel ladder presented by Lucas Oil. Doug Herbert has lane choice in our first matchup. Brandon Bernstein in the second. And we focus now, track temperature 87 degrees. Doug Herbert, Bob Vandergriff, 2 guys that are trying to go in the same direction. For Doug Herbert, he is trying to put a cap on a comeback. Remember last year, he was the oil down king. He brought Ace McCullough on, and they are looking to go to their first final of the year. For Bob Vandergriff, well, he's looking to get big-time sponsorship. A final appearance would do well there. Dave Reed.
And Marty, remember I talked about a clutch run. This team smoked the tires in the last round, broke a clutch part, but they didn't know what if it was cause or effect that did that. So they've kind of decided they're going to roll the dice in this semifinal race here.
The winner faces the winner between Tony Schumacher and Brandon Bernstein. Doug Herbert is going to his first final since Bristol of 2003. 4.62 seconds. There's Ed the Ace McCullough. 290 miles an hour, and oh my, more problems at the far end.
And the same thing we saw the previous round. Doug Herbert crew chief Ed McCullough really seems to have this car running pretty good on the early part of the run. You see him lift the front end up there. Good numbers. The car washes out a little bit towards the wall, but this track is so good, it's not really spinning that much. But then at this point, it's going to start putting some cylinder out, start eating itself up, causing some engine damage, but he is in the final.
And coming through the smoke is Tony Schumacher, and the points leader. Alongside will be Brandon Bernstein, as Tony trying to put more distance between him and the rest of the field. Remember, at the beginning of the season, Brandon Bernstein was thought to be a contender, had gone to several finals, but his last final has been Topeka. And ever since then, when he had that second red light, everybody has sort of focused on his reaction times. And it has been a big thought process for him to try and work on that as well. For Tony Schumacher, of course, he's trying to tie Top Fuel history. There is the point standings right now at this moment, 253, which is not mathematically insurmountable, but as we pointed out, it's pretty much wrapped up for Tony for his second Top Fuel championship.
Well, you know, the one thing you don't want to give that man right there, Alan Johnson, an extra shot. Basically, he got a little bit of a break in the previous round when it went out there and shook the tires. His competition, Londa Hartman-Smith, had more trouble. Tony did a good job of being able to backpedal the car and get it to the finish line first. This man right here, Tim Richards, he's really had this car on a rail. I mean, this thing's been very consistent. Has lane choice. He's chosen that left lane. He really seems to like it.
Great drag race, and look at the numbers. Oh my, in a hole shot, Tony Schumacher, 4.509 to Brandon's 4.506, 327 miles an hour, 331 for Brandon. And it is the third reaction time loss this year for Brandon.
Well, Brandon didn't have a bad light, but he was about 17 thousandths of a second behind Tony Schumacher, almost 200ths of a second. But I tell you what, Alan Johnson had the tune-up. Like we said, he got a little bit of a break in the previous round. That's all he needed. Came back and ran a 450. But I'll tell you what, the Budweiser car was right there with him.
Let's go to Bill.
Doug Herbert's car was just towed away, covered with oil, but a certain driver whose last name is Zillow once said, I don't care if I blow it up on every run as long as I'm going rounds.
I've done that before. You go to a race, make 8 runs, you got 8 engines to go in it. That's why we carry spare parts. But Snap-on Tools and Doug Herbert Performance Parts, Powerade, Redline Oil, everybody that helps us out here, we're happy to be in the final. Schumacher's a tough character, but you know what? You never know what happens there.
If you're going to blow it up again,
It doesn't matter.
Well, let's take a look at the matchups for Tony Schumacher. 11th final this year, the 42nd of his career for Doug Herbert. We pointed out it's his first 17th of his career. Lane choice, oh, by a bunch to Tony Schumacher. Dave Reef.
Down with Tony Schumacher, a chance to go after the record reflects a whole shot win, identical 450s.
Is that right? I'll tell you, I felt about half track like I was about a day late, so I'm not really sure what happened out there. But it was a longer tree than normal. I didn't feel like I performed that good. For the Army team, Alan Johnson, these guys are just kicking butt. I get to drive the best, baddest car in the world. Obviously, with the points lead, every 20 points counts right now. We can't lock it up here, but this is our hometown. We would just absolutely love to win one in Chicago. Matco Tools, Gates Belts, you guys have survived the year with us. Thank you so much for everything, and we love you, man. Try to see if we can win another one.
Here's the funny car ladder presented by Lucas Oil. John Force has lane choice over Cruz, and Eric Medlin in our first matchup over Del Worsham. And Eric has selected the left lane.
Yeah, seems like they're kind of going to the left lane right now. I mean, this is a really good matchup right here, Marty.
Parker, you've got more?
Yeah, it's been interesting how the performance of John Force this weekend has shaken the confidence of all the other funny car teams. Remember, Del Worsham stumbled across something after testing at the U.S. Nationals. They've won a race. They qualified number 2 here. But now he and everyone else are scrambling, changing their setup, trying to compensate for this performance advantage that John has. That's not what Del wanted coming into these semis, and he and his dad are trying to get back to a baseline that they know and they trust.
Del picked up his reaction time, and he gets a whole shot win. 4.80 seconds to the quicker, but losing 4.78. Del's going to his second straight final, and remember, he won last time out. take a look at the photo finish, and you can see the margin of victory right there. 87 10,000th of a second. The 5th reaction time loss this year for young Eric Medlin. And that's, I guess, part of the definition of being a rookie. Stay with us. We've got more Funny Car and all of Pro Stock semifinals when we come back. Back here at the CarQuest Auto Parts National. Semifinal action in Top Fuel and the 8,000 horses of John Force's Castrol GTX startup machine come to life. There is Cruz Pedregon. Cruz, since Denver, has been on a tear. Of course, the only man who's been better is that guy right there, John Force. Let's go back to the key moment in this race, the very first round. That is John Force setting a new national elapsed time mark at 4.665 at 333.58 miles an hour. Unreal. Celebration at the far end, and now it's back to business. There's the lead over Del Worsham as they came into this round. And we'll talk more about these guys. First, let's go to Bill.
Del Worsham got a few hole shot wins against that Castrol gang this year. What's your secret?
No secrets. I'll tell you what, we've lost some very close races with Eric this year. And finally, we won a close one. Great team over there. Eric's car runs great, you know, and you watch John's car. But my dad and the team put together, again, another great car. You know, Checkers, Chuck Craig, and the Monte Carlo. People from Chevron, we have the Haviland people out here, and we got it down there, nothing leaked, didn't spin a tire, and a must not have dropped the cylinder that time.
Woo! Back at the starting line, Cruz Pedregon trying to go to his 5th final this year, and there he is. He has scored more points than anyone in Funny Car except John Force. Parker?
Talk to Bernie Federle about the advantage they found this week, and it's what Mike Dunn's talked about all the time, getting as much fuel under the 85% rule as they did under 90%. I asked him if they could carry it through for the rest of the year, and he said, as long as the track will hold it, we'll have a substantial advantage.
Season, John has beaten Cruz Pedregon 4.72 seconds to a 4.78. Brother Tony, I'll tell you what, Cruz has nothing to hang his head about.
Nah, Cruz did an excellent job here. He was in the game for quite a ways. I mean, they ran identical to about 330-foot mark, but boy, then after that, John Force just pulled away a little bit and got the win. I mean, that car is looking tough. Watch this on replay. Now, at this point, I mean, John went a little bit deep, got a little bit of a hole shot advantage. That might be a little bit deceiving, but then at 330-foot mark, they ran identical ETs. John picked up just a little bit at half track, but he was running 3 miles an hour faster, and from there, he just pulled away to the win. Great job for both teams.
Here is the matchup in the finals. It will be lane choice going to John Force by 8/100ths of a second over Del Worsham. For John, it will be the 9th final this year, the 177th of his career. And it's going to be a dandy. John's having trouble getting out from underneath the body. And there, he's finally out. Looks like he may have a problem. He's asking somebody to get the body up.
That's indeed the case, Marty.
Oh, yeah, they've got some fire under there. So even after the turnout, they get a little flame underneath. What do you think it could be, Mike?
That ain't nothing. You're at 472 and you just got a little fire like that. That ain't nothing to be concerned with.
Okay, Dave, we'll send it to you.
John Force, no reason to be concerned by that little fire. You are final round bound. Pretty tough matchup right there.
I was mad because I couldn't get out of my seatbelt. Keep running them 60s, and boys keep pulling me tighter and tighter, and I couldn't get them unhooked. And then I saw it burning. I just wanted to get out, but it's okay. Just a little manifold kick there. Yeah, I'm trying to get excited. Want to wrap up this championship. Anytime you race some Pedregon brothers, got to get after them. But bottom line, we're getting closer, and I want it back. That's all. I just want it back.
Over to Bill.
Just a little bit of oil leaking out from underneath the engine of Cruz Pedregon's Advanced Auto Parts Monte Carlo. But let me tell you, Cruz, although you didn't win, you know you have got a good race car. This thing has been thunder.
Oh, yeah, I tell you what, the semifinal is a good finish, really. You're racing. John Force is on another planet today, and hats off to that team over there. But hey, we held our own here. We gave him a fight. I didn't see him till about half track or a little bit past half track, but for Advanced Auto Parts, man, I'll tell you, all the team members out there can be proud of this car, and been a long time coming, but we have a bona fide winner here. It's just a matter of time.
Big turnaround from the beginning of the season for him.
Well, we've got to take a commercial break. When we come back, it'll be time for the factory hot rods. Can Greg Anderson close in on win number 14? Come back and find out. Back here at the CarQuest Auto Parts Nationals at Route 66 Raceway in Joliet, Illinois, just south of Chicago, and we're getting ready for semifinals in Pro Stock, and it will be Greg Anderson with the lane choice over Bruce Allen, Dave Conley with the lane choice over Stevie Johns. And fourth race of the year for Dave Conley and Steve Johns, the teammates. Conley beat Johns at Vegas on a hole shot, lost to him at Topeka. Dave outran Johns at Memphis, and then as we look in on these guys, let's get more from Parker.
I asked motor builder Bill Grumpy Jenkins who had the horsepower advantage. He said, well, the motor in Steve's car, that one in Brainerd. The motor in Dave's car, well, that one in Dallas. I said, what about the A motor, the one that's got the real horsepower? He said, well, we heard that one and haven't been able to fix it yet. And I said, well, at least you're going to the finals. And he said, duh.
Even an old IndyCar driver can figure that one out, huh, Parker?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. You know, I hit the wall a few too many times.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I tell you, this is a great matchup. I mean, Dave Conley has really been on his game on the tree all day. I mean, 0-10 light, 0-19. Stevie John's going to have to step up his game.
Oh, man, Stevie rolls it deep and then just, he just gets out of it. For the 6th time in 7 races, Dave Conley's going to the final. And the 21-year-old is laying his claim saying, fellas, I may not win the championship this year, but I'm going to be a player next year. Let's go back and take a look at this start.
That was just an incident where the car actually rolled through the light. They have a line lock, and they actually put the throttle all the way down. If the clutch is dragging, it'll roll through the brake, and that's exactly what happened with Steve Johns. That was just basically a mechanical problem that caused him to do that.
So it'll be the 8th final in his career that Dave Conley will be going to. And as we said, 6 of the last 7. Now we're turning our attention to Greg Anderson. Of course, he has reset the national elapsed time record, but there are 2 tracks that he is still not won at. And guess what? One of them is right here at Route 66 Raceway. The other one is next week in Reading. And he is closing in on the single season record of 67 round wins. Coming into this round, he has 64. Let's get more on Greg Anderson from Dave Reeve.
And Marty, we saw that concerned look on Greg Anderson's face a little bit ago. Says the car is making very nice passes, but not nice enough. On the graph, it looks very, very nice, but the car is not shaking. It's not on edge. He says it's just plain not fast. So the weather conditions have gotten better. The track conditions are still good, and quite frankly, they don't know where to tune it, but shoot, he's been in this position too before. Parker?
Last-minute lane change for Greg Anderson. He went to the right. I asked co-crew chief Jeff Hurley why the change. He said nothing with the track. It's just comfortability. We've been there all day. We want to stay there.
Advantage Anderson. Anderson is going to the final for the 16th time this year. That's a pro stock record, 6.71 seconds, 206 miles an hour, and it is going to be good enough for lane choice. It should be by about, yep, there it is, 5/1000th of a second. This is going to be a dandy final. Can Greg Anderson get the record-setting win number 14? Well, young Dave Conley is going to try and deny him in the pro stock final. Let's go to Bill.
In the background, Greg Anderson is pulling up, but in the foreground, no 21-year-old pro stock driver has ever gone to 8 final rounds in a season, let alone won 3.
I never knew that, but it's good news for me anyway. The whole team, Bullitt Motorsport, we've made great runs all weekend, and really as a group we've come together and just did an awesome job. Jenkins competition, they're just doing a great job, you know, doing the motors and that. And we've had fun all weekend, you know, had a he's taken from us, but maybe we can take the win away from him in the final. We'll see.
Let's go to Dave Reeve.
Well, Greg, you haven't been real happy with that race car, but you have been on your game. You just pulled a 19 light.
That's what I'm going to need, obviously, against that cat. Everybody knows what he's been doing lately. The kid's on fire, and somehow I got to find a way to stop him. I need to help my teammate out here, and I need that 14th win, too. So it's going to be great, but, yeah, I'm going to have to get up on that wheel.
Well, we've got to take commercial break. When we come back, we'll set the stage for all the finals here at the CarQuest Auto Parts Nationals. Look at some of the fans here at Route 66 Raceway at the CarQuest Auto Parts Nationals as they are getting ready, as are we, for the finals. And let's check our Castrol startup of the day. This is the best reaction times, and you'll take a look. They all happened in round number 1, and it's good news for Kenny Koretsky, Brady Calavona, and Tommy Johnson Jr. until you realize they still lost in round number 1. And that is rare, but that's what happened today in our Castrol startup of the day. Now, who is going to take home the Wally? Well, in Top Fuel, it's going to be either Doug Herbert or Tony Schumacher. In Funny Car, well, it's John Force and Del Worsham. They're first and second in the points championship chase. And young Dave Conley and the champion, Greg Anderson, will square off. And those are the two we're going to take a focus on first. Dave Conley in the right lane. Greg Anderson in the left lane. Don't need to say too much, except that this could be another one of those moments in history that you don't want to miss if you're a drag racing fan. Here it is, 13 wins. It ties John Force. If he takes it here, he sets a new mark with 14, and Greg Anderson could own it all.
Yeah, he could get 2 birds with 1 stone right here. He's never won here in Chicago either, so obviously if he does that, gets the 14 wins in 1 season, obviously he wants to do that, but Dave Conley's standing his way, and that's an awfully good car over there.
Parker?
Preparation for this final, Greg Anderson's crew changed gear ratios as well as the 4-link rear suspension. On Dave Conley's car, they're a little bit more aggressive for the clutch. When I walked into the tents of both teams, Grump was playing solitaire on his computer while Rob Downing, Jason Line looking at computer data. Maybe that says it all in this matchup.
Well, Dave Conley beat Greg in the final at Brainerd, and I guarantee you Greg is thinking about it. Remember, watch the reaction times. That's going to be key. Red light, Anderson. History is going to have to wait another day. And Dave Conley breaks off of the line and is not probably going to make it to the finish stripe unless he can get it refired. He gets the win. Grumpy's got a smile on his face. What? That may fracture his jaw. He's not used to smiling that much.
I mean, can you believe that? I mean, Greg Anderson only missed it by 0.03 of a second.
Parker?
With the proud father, Ray Connolly, who won earlier in Supergas, and now Dave's pulled this off. Not pretty, but it worked.
It wasn't pretty, but it'll work. We'll take it.
It's an incredible performance this young man has put on all season long.
Yeah, it's pretty good. He's doing a great job.
Who taught him that?
I don't know. He's just natural, I think.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Remember last year, we showed you earlier, Greg Anderson lost on a red light to Jeg Coughlin. He does it again.
This was huge. He only missed red light by 0.03 of a second, but it might as well have been 3 seconds because it doesn't matter. He lost the round. Dave Conley broke as soon as he left the starting line. Look at that thing. Broken axle, probably the way the thing made a move over to the right, but he coasted on down there and got the win.
So a bit anticlimactic after all the great performance numbers that we've seen, but young Dave Conley picks up his 3rd win this year, solidifies 2nd place even more as we go to Dave Reef.
And Marty, the history we forgot to mention, Dave Conley doubles up with his father who wins Supergas. How about that? You become the 2nd father-son duo to do so.
That's awesome. Dad did a great job. Greg took the record from us, but he pretty much gave us that final. I don't know what happened, but I mean, still, they did an awesome job. You have to be there to get breaks like that, so I got to thank Mac, Bullet, Jenkins Competition, all them guys did an awesome job to even be here.
His 3rd win of the year puts him 2nd along with Jason Line, Bill.
Greg Anderson, can you explain that?
No, I can't. Obviously, one too many Mountain Dews or something, Bill. Just too jacked. Apparently, the kid, maybe pressed too hard. You can't press too hard. You got to stick to your guns, and threw it away there. There's something about this Chicago place. I love it. I love racing here, but man, I've had some bad luck here. I can't fault that on luck. That's all me. Give him that one.
This place has been voodoo for Greg Anderson.
Well, and you heard them mention the double-up. Remember, it was also the Bernsteins, Kenny and Brandon. They did it here in Chicago. They first did it at Las Vegas as we get ready now to shift gears into Funny Car. The long burnout for John Force. He's in the left lane. Del Worsham over in the right lane. Del when these two have met in finals, actually leads John. They've met 9 times. He leads 5-4. And remember, Dell is 7 for 7 when he makes it to the final over the last 2 years, including last week.
I mean, those are very impressive numbers, obviously, just based on what you're hearing there. But, I mean, John Force has just dominated this race like I haven't seen in a long time. That car has been extremely good. You got to remember, it's a little bit cooler right now. I expect they're going to try to tune this thing up to run another 460 run. Maybe not 66, but possibly a high 460 if John doesn't stay to too deep.
Dell can set a little personal history if he can win this one. He's never won 5 races in a single season. And Parker, you've got more?
In moments of candor, funny car drivers will tell you they fear facing John Force. Dell Worsham lives for this moment, but in the semifinals, he damaged his one and only supercharger, a specially built one. They had to go back to one that they haven't used in quite some time. Also had a problem with the slide valve, so Dell is a little nervous, maybe a little off his game, but he knows that the tree may be all important if John has the slightest hiccup during the run.
Smokes the tires, and Dell, look at the celebration. Dell's best run this year was in this race was a 476 prior to this round, and John's worst was a 472, but that is why we run the race. Parker?
Chuck Worsham, you were hoping for 2001 all over again. You found something after Indy 2 in a row. It just gets better, and you did it against the fastest, the quickest guy in the history of the sport.
Oh, you know, we ran good. He was on the game all weekend. We made him mad there in qualifying, so he started running better. But, man, what a way to make a living this is, Parker.
Is there anything better for a family team?
No, this is as good as it gets. You know, I mean, 2 races in a row. I mean, all the sponsors got to be elated. All good, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Dell sets a career best speed, 329 and change.
Wow, what a huge surprise. John Force right there just blew the tires off. I mean, that thing didn't just start spinning. It just basically went out there about 300 feet and smoked the tires, turned it sideways. Dell Worsham, I had a great tune-up on that thing to run the kind of number, did career best speed on that particular run. But you see John Force here just got tire smoke and sideways and had to shut it off.
Dave Reef.
The National Event Trophy from Scott Ginsburg at CarQuest. Who would have thought that?
You know, my dad told me one time this is a race, not a gathering. And stuff like that happens. What an unbelievable job here. My dad, the entire team, Chuck Shucks Cragen, all of our sponsors. We got our Haviland people out here. My wife's here finally this weekend, and I cannot say enough about my team. You know, in the final round, you know, we changed blowers. We had a baby blower we loved, and we lost it. And, you know, I went in deep, and I took every inch of the track I could, and I am very, very excited. Thank you guys very much. Woo!
The best laid plans, Bill.
With John Force, Gary Scelzi with Bazemore fading, and now another problem, Dell Worsham.
Well, yeah, but you haven't noticed we're winning rounds, and that's really what it's all about. It's a great kid, great team over there, and we're a great team over here with Castrol and Ford. It's the 40th anniversary of Ford. This hot rod's been running 60s. If you looked earlier, I was deep on both runs. First round I ran, that's 69, whatever it was, and I was deep, ran 71 and 73. Those were 60s too. So maybe whatever took place is all destiny, but the championship's what this is about. And what's really happened here is John Force is back in his game because I've been screwed up, and I found out why, and I'm okay now. So, you know, that's it. That's the way it is.
He's okay now.
And John leads by 237 points over Dell Worsham as we come to our final race of the day. It will be Tony Schumacher trying to make his own history as he is looking to win his 9th race of the year. That would tie him with Larry Dixon and Gary Scelzi for most wins in a Top Fuel season. But Doug Herbert, who's looking for his first win of this year, stands in his way.
Doug Herbert, like we talked about, we heard Ed McCullough mention that he's going to just go out there and try to run a 450. They're going to try to get it run on the other end of the track. They've been running pretty good to half track, but they've been having problems on the top end. They're going to need to do that if they want to even have a shot at getting around the Sarge there. Tony Schumacher has been running awfully good. He got that one break in the second round, but other than that, this car's been pretty much flawless.
Parker?
Well, Tony Schumacher also had a problem in the semis. They had a timer malfunction just past 1,000 feet, which caused the engine to run lean. for Alan Johnson, he knows that problem's corrected. It's a matter of not being too cautious and just letting it run hard.
The win light to Doug Herbert. Where did they pull that one from? 4.51 seconds, 329 miles an hour. He was first off the line. It's a career-best speed, a career-best ET, and Doug Herbert denies Tony Schumacher his 9th win of the season. Look at Ed McCullough.
Ed the Ace McCullough did exactly what he said he was going to do and won the race. What a great job by the team.
Parker.
Ed the Ace McCullough, you are always so calm, so collected. I have never seen that kind of emotion from you before.
Oh, this is some kind of great. I mean, you know, what a year. I mean, we've been down. We haven't run good. We have periodically we'll throw one down, but this racetrack, I wish we could race every race here. Then we'd learn how to run a 40.
You just took out Goliath.
Well, we knew they were going to run a 40. They probably knew we couldn't. They probably weren't trying to. We threw everything we had in them, and we got away with it.
Completely awesome, Bill.
Oh, it'll be a minute before we can get a word from Doug Herbert. He has been so busy high-fiving everybody down here. So, how do you feel today?
I'm a little bit happy. I'll tell you what. All team's coming together. Ed McCullough and Brissett and all the guys. I'll tell you what. I couldn't be happier. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you.
You know, they said he was shooting for a 450, went 451 career best speed and ET, Doug.
I'll tell you what, that is awesome. We got our guys from CarQuest here, Scott Ginsberg and the boys. We appreciate them guys putting on this race. Snap-on Tools, Doug Herbert Performance Parts, Redline Oil, Barlow World. We're happy. When I saw Worsham win in front of me, I thought, you know what, we're going to win this thing. Yeah!
He made good, didn't he?
Woo!
His 8th career win, first in Sonoma of 2002. Let's go back and see Tony's run.
I mean, watch Tony here. He's going to go in a little bit of tire shake right there. You saw it, and it drove through it. And then on the other end, we saw that smoke right at the end of the run when he lifted out of the throttle. That means it was probably a little bit lean. Possibly the problem they had the previous round didn't get fixed and probably cost them that run.
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sport. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For Mike Dunn, Bill Stevens, Dave Reed, Parker Johnstone, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time we go drag racing.